Well, we are getting another snapshot of the Canadian housing market this morning. Data from the Canadian Real Estate Association shows national home sales continued to slide last month. The average price of a home is also down from this time last year. The CBC's Anis Haydari is in Calgary with the latest on this. So, Anis, just how steep are these declines in the housing market?
We're seeing really slides in almost every measure that realtors and the Real Estate Association use to track the housing market. Home sales, just as a total number of how many sales happened, those went down in February from the month before. The benchmark home price, which is a measure that the Canadian Real Estate Association uses for just that sort of average home, it went down 4.8% compared to the same time last year. Now, the Real Estate Association does say that they're expecting there's like pent-up demand that's building up over the winter, and that they think it might, spring forward, so to speak, as the weather improves. But this is still not a lot of green arrows, so to speak, in these numbers. The amount of new listings were down in February compared to the month before. Price declines in British Columbia, Alberta, Ontario, those offset gains that were made in other provinces as well. Now, there were a few cities where we saw some price increases, but they're not the usual suspects. Quebec City saw a really high price increase. But overall, housing activity stalled in larger cities across the country. The benchmark home price, $661,000. And that's close to the prices that we saw in the spring of 2021, Arthi. So really, when we're looking at housing prices across the country, it's almost like a rewind to about 4 or 5 years ago when things were a little bit softer. We've lost a lot of the gains in home values in this country.
And we know, of course, there's just so much uncertainty when it comes to the economy right now, given all of the, global shifts and events that are occurring. So is there any sense then of where the housing market could go at this point?
What we're seeing from these numbers that are, again, from the Real Estate Association, they're showing, a little bit of a buildup in inventory. And that's realtor speak for how many houses are available on the market at any given time. So there's more supply, it seems, and there's less demand, or at least there's less sellers and buyers out there right now in some respects. The market just seems sluggish from what we're hearing from realtors, real estate associations, people who watch this industry. As for economists, here's what they have to say.
It's a market that is kind of a slow, very little, few buyers entering the market at this stage, and prices declining. So in our view is that it's probably going to remain this kind of sluggish for the next few months. Maybe latter stages of 2026, we're going to see the market strengthening a little bit, but that's based on some of the uncertainty lifting.
So, uncertainty it feels like it's a word that I say every day here on the air, but there's uncertainty in the housing market because people aren't sure about their jobs in Canada, about the economy here in general. We've seen that with the ongoing, instability when it comes to our trade relationship with the U.S. Then you add in this war with Iran, these conflicts in the Middle East, what it's doing to the price of oil, what it's doing to economies around the world. And that's not even taken into account in these numbers, which are again from February. So yes, if things sort of become more stable or predictable, then the market might pick up. But you can hear a lot of, let's say, I don't want to say uncertainty again, so let's say a lack of sureness, which is definitely a word, from that economist there. The one other thing we're going to be watching, Arthi, is the Bank of Canada announces interest rates later this week, tomorrow actually. And so they may have some things to say about how the economy is doing then as well.
And how that lack of sureness is impacting that decision too. Anis, thank you for this. That's the CBC's Anis Haydari in Calgary.